What's up, guys? It might not look like it, but my garage, it's a little bit cluttered. This garage has become a catch-all for way too long, but it's time to transform it into a functional studio/shop. My first step is to finish out this back wall with pallet wood and build in some custom storage for all my tools. But to accomplish that, I have two big things in my way. My mini tea bucket, which just needs a simple carburetor gasket, and this 2005 Audi TT 3.2 VR6, the star of today's video. I'm already midway through the teardown, so the interior is mostly gone. Now I'm down to the most critical step, starting with removing the A-pillars.
Let me show you something.
A crucial safety warning here, because the airbags are behind the A-pillars. You must disconnect your battery first. If you don't, you risk becoming the accident instead of preventing it.
Sir, I assure you what I perform is magic. It is completely safe.
That's what they said about the World Trade Center, son. But me and my friend Abdul and a couple of pounds of plastic explosives showed them different. Let me tell you something.
The next step is the headliner. As you can see, the old adhesive has already failed, and it's completely separated from the backing. It's vital to remove all the old gunk and get the surface as smooth as possible. Any adhesive you leave behind will almost guarantee a wrinkle in the new material.
These are the tools required.
Or even worse, cause it to sag again. Then all this work would be for nothing. For the new adhesive, I'm using this Gap contact adhesive. This here is what the pros use. Not only does it have a powerful, long-lasting bond, but it's specifically made to withstand the high temperatures your car will reach during the summer. Stay away from that cheap spray can stuff. That just gets tacky and will fall right back down in a year. Trust me on that one. I've been there before. So I'm not cutting that corner. With this car, I have some history with it. The rear seat delete you see back there, it's not stock. This entire project actually started last fall when I decided to build that. It was then that I realized the rest of the interior was in pretty rough condition from years of neglect and multiple owners. So I decided it was time to upgrade it all. Originally, I was going to go all out. Star lights, speakers, speaker lights, you name it. But I realized this car, it's an upcoming classic. I wanted to keep it tasteful in honor of its design and not make it look like a teenager's car. When it came out in 2005, this car had a sticker price of over $43,000, while a brand new Mustang GT was only stickering at around $29,000. So what made it so expensive?
Performance that equal G-forces.
The Audi TT 3.2 had a 3.2-liter V6 with a unique, narrow-angle design, putting out 250 horsepower. But the real magic was in its quattro all-wheel drive system and the groundbreaking DSG transmission. The DSG was one of the very first dual-clutch gearboxes on the market, giving it lightning-fast shift speeds. And it's a technology that has now become a standard in high-performance and luxury vehicles today, proving just how far ahead of its time the car really was. It was truly ahead of its class. All-wheel drive and low center of gravity meant it could hug the corners and stick to the road in a way that truly surprised people, for the price point at least. I had the same issue on the other one. These like little plastic rivets, it's not even a rivet, they just melt the plastic on the other side. They're kind of brittle. Two-part epoxy. It could even keep up with much more expensive exotic cars like the contemporary Ferrari F430 on tight autocross tracks. It was the definition of performance per dollar. And as it turns out, these are not airbags behind the A-pillar. I guess it's just a foam support block to stop it from caving in. So you don't have to worry about nothing exploding in your face, but I would still go ahead and disconnect the battery. I always do if I'm doing interior work. And I always take my time on my first side. This is 20-year-old plastic, so it gets pretty brittle from heating up and cooling down throughout the years. So you really want to take your time and find out where your clips are, so that way you know where to apply the pressure on the other side. The other side always goes a lot faster. This car was one of the better examples of the TT that I had found. They're hard to find in good condition. A lot of them are missing buttons or have broken pieces. Since you're only getting in on half of the teardown, I'll go over the first half that I done last fall and show you where the clips are, some of the trouble points and whatnot like that, what to be careful with. Alright, so on removing your A-pillar, you got these 3 clips here. That's not a clip there, so just these 2 right here at the very back. So, shit. It's going on like this. So you got 2 clips back here at the back. One of my metal clips came off and stayed in the car. Luckily the plastic didn't break. But you got your 2 metal clips at the back. And then up here, what was giving me the problem was these 2 clips right here, but they give you this big old metal plate to be able to pull on. So I thought the clips were right there, but that's actually just a guide, so that way it comes, you know, straight out or whatnot. And then you could feel it, the tension was up here, but I just kind of put something behind there and hit that metal plate to kind of loosen those up, and then gave it a good yank and it came off. But that's what you're looking for, your 2 metal clips up front, that big old metal plate that gives you the brace to be able to pull and stuff like that on it. And then these ones you'll have off before you even get to that. So, and then for the headliner, I've already removed the one sun visor. Get this light on. I missed pointing out this one last clip right here by the metal plate. So it is actually 2 in back, 3 up front. So it looks like for the sun visors, alright, this is up in there like that. There's a little plastic cover that is covering where that hole is. You got to pop that out. And then there's just one Phillips screw that connects it right there. And then this piece right there, you can see it pops down like a hook. So you got to get it to come down like that and kind of unhook it. So it's up in there like that. You kind of get it to slide forward a little bit, but you see that catch right there. So you got to back it out a little bit, get it to pop down, and then try and get it to slide forward. I'm not sure about this one, what's going on with it, but I'll figure out. It might not even need to come out, but I'm pretty sure that it feels like there's something connected right here in the center. The center is held on by 3 clips. One of mine ended up breaking, but that's okay. That's just another job for 2-part epoxy. I'll work on getting that off, and then I'll take this other one off here. And then obviously I'll need to pop these lights off here, unplug them, and then this will have a wire connecting for the center. And got another light up there. The sun visor hooks have to come out before the headliner. They have a little plastic cover on them. You have to remove beforehand, and it makes it a lot easier to get them pried out. So that's just like a a big plastic clip. So I'm prying it out, it's the only way to get it out. The plastic clip goes through the headliner and into a slot in the middle roof. At least I know there's a cover on it. So on this one, we'll just try and peel the cover off first. Here we go. I thought there was some screws or something behind the garage door opener box, but it's just the 3 clips on the headliner itself holding that on. The garage door opener box has these 2 clips you gotta get to be able to unplug it. There's 1 screw behind the garage door opener. You might as well get that while you're there. And then the headliner's ready to come down. After you get it down, it's got these 2 screws going through the back of the headliner into the back of the garage door opener mount. So that was a pain in the ass. Alright, a little recap on taking this all back apart in the rear. This is the hatch. I started above the window, and it's got 4 clips, 1, 2, 3, and 4 right across the back with 3 guides. And then on the side, it's got those little clips. They fit in right there. And that's the only thing it really has on the side. And then moving down to the bottom, you have 4 across the top, and I think those were the ones that I'd done the last, and I had to use a pry tool to try and get to them because I was wanting to separate this. On the bottom side, I started at the bottom with those 4, and then I think I came up in through here and hit that one with a pry bar, and then I guess there's only 1 on that side, but then you got 4 up top on this panel too. So there was a crap ton, it felt like, on this one, trying to find them all. I didn't know where they was. I was just trying to reach my hand behind there and find them and trying to figure out where to pry. So it definitely helps knowing exactly where they are, and then it helps you to know like where to pry. Like you assume that there would be 4 at the bottom and possibly 4 at the top, but you wouldn't expect that oddball one. So you think you got, oh, okay, it feels like all 4 of those popped, and you're like, what's hanging up? Well, you know, find a video that shows you where the little clips are. So that's the hatch. And then on the interior, this is one of the first pieces you want to take off. It's just right above there. It goes across the rear A-pillars. These clips down here in the end are actually inside of the A-pillars. So they're put together like that. So this has got to come down first. But that's a pretty snug fit in there. So make sure you come straight down. These are brittle. You got 4 clips on that top piece. And then the next piece I think I took out was this back piece. And this back piece, you got to take out your battery and your spare stuff. It tucks down behind that stuff, and then it's got this hole here and this hole here where these 2 fit in, and then you got 2 clips, one right underneath that one, and then one over here to the left of that one. So you kind of have to whenever it's in there, you kind of gotta pull like that. It's different, but you can feel it's got to come out, you know, kind of the shape that it goes in, you know. So that one was kind of tricky. But then you got your back ones. You got your back ones that go here, and I popped open this little door, and you got one above it and one to the right at the bottom, and that gets you started on that piece. then I ended up breaking the one that connects right here. This is it right here. I two-part epoxied it. But these little tracks, this one that's broke right here, and then this one on that side, that's the only thing that is supporting that clip to that panel. And after 20 years, that gets brittle. So these ones here I found are the weak link of the whole thing. I think both of them gave me problems. That one ended up breaking on me, and then this one stayed in on this side, and I just went ahead and left it in on that side. I'll deal with that whenever it comes to reinstalling it, if I need to go ahead and take it out and actually put it back on the panel. I think I can slip my panel right on it though, and it won't be no worries. But you got the two at the back, that trouble one, and then one below that. So you can go ahead and get this one, you know, from the bottom with your hand, I remember, and then that one there was the trouble one, trying to find where it was. And whenever you do go to pull, this thing just pops right off. So what I think you're supposed to do is, I think you're supposed to pop these out and pop that one, and then try to slide the piece out, which doesn't make any sense, but that's how I think it's designed. So I would pop those three and then try to slide the piece, looks like backwards. So if it's over there, it's right there connected to that, so you want to try and pull it backwards a little bit before you try and take it off, or you're probably just going to pop that one off and break it like I did mine. But no worries, man, two-part epoxy fixes everything. Alright, then whenever it comes to these back passenger panels, these right here, this is where like your CD player, and one of them is just, this one right here, it'd be on the passenger side, is just a cubby hole. But these little clips, they constantly break. Mine were intact whenever I bought the car, but I think literally driving home, one of them ended up breaking on me. And how I fixed it is, if you can see that wire right there, that wire runs all the way through from one end to the other. I drilled a hole on this side and on this side, ran that little wire through. It keeps this little latch in. Whenever they break, the plastic piece off this little latch breaks, that keeps it from sliding out. So after it breaks, it'll just pop out each time. The body of it won't stay on to the drawer. So I two-part epoxied that on and put that wire in there, and now it closes how it should. But those are the weak point of every Audi TT. I see these little drawers, they're sitting there flopped open like that, or people stuff something in there to keep it closed. These little latches break. So I was lucky enough that I found one that wasn't broke, but then just driving it home, I think, broke one. So I went ahead and fixed that one, and then before the other one broke, I just went ahead and fixed it, so that way I didn't have to worry about trying to find the parts and stuff like that. But on this panel, you got two at the bottom, actually three at the bottom, two on this side, and then one on this side. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up top with two guides. That piece was kind of easier. It came off easier. Then this is your passenger side A-pillar. So this would be the front. They're all in a line, it looks like. So you got 4 of them there, and you'll have to remove the top trim piece before you take this off. So that one was pretty basic, and it's got this nice big metal plate that if you can get your hands in there behind it. And this is the one that, the little plastic thing, if you can see these, they're just like the plastic guides, but instead of it just being a guide, it goes through the hole, and then they melt the plastic down on top of it. So they end up like a kind of like a plastic rivet, and they're real brittle after time. So that's the one I was talking about, that I took the two-part epoxy. I just took a little drill bit and went inside the hole, got some fresh plastic, and then threw some 2-part epoxy down inside of it, and then some up on top of it, clamped it down, and it's holding good. So actually the 2-part epoxy is probably stronger than that plastic ever will be. So I think that's it. I think that's all the clips that you need to know about. So that's the main thing, is just knowing where the clips are. All right, so my next step is, with changing the interior from gray to black, I need to change these pieces here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all the interior pieces before I upholster them, so that way the adhesive makes a good contact. I've never really liked this spray color stuff, but I'm going to use that as a last resort. I'm hoping I can do everything with the dye. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the visors. I'm either going to try to dye them, and if that doesn't work out, I'm just going to go ahead and reupholster them, because it'll look better having them matching. But all the other stuff is going to get dyed with the RIT dye. So we'll see how that turns out.
This car isn't just a project, it's a tale. A tale that began way back in '99, when I was but a scallywag of 19. I was at my high school mate's place, and we were talking fast ships. I asked him, if he could have any vessel in the world, what would it be? He said, a Volkswagen R32. I'd never heard of the beast. He told me it was a hatchback, and I thought, a hatchback? What's a wee lad gonna do with a hatchback? It's no exactly a lassie magnet. That's when he explained that Audi used the very same hull, but wrapped it in a sporty 2-door body. He told me sailors were driving them so fast they were literally flying off the road. Right then and there, a new dream ship was born. I saw the price and thought, that's close enough to a proper supercar that'll just... 1 clip? 2 clip? Red clip? Blue clip? Just have to stay a dream. As life went on, the memory of that chat faded. And just like that, I became a man with a child of my own. Fast forward 16 years. Me wee lassie needed her first ship, so I got her a Honda Accord. When she wasn't ready to sail it on her own, it became me work car for a while. But eventually, I needed a new work vessel, and instead of buying a boring old sedan, I decided to search for a classic ship to call me own. I stumbled across the Audi TT again, with its incredible stats and numbers for the year, and I knew I had to get one. It wasn't until I started working on it that I heard it associated with the R32 so many times. The memory came flooding back, and it hit me like a cannonball. That conversation from when I was a wee lad, me lost dream ship had found its way back to me. Some treasures in life are just meant to be, but you still have to seek them out. If you want something, dinna give up. It might take a decade or two, but that price that seemed unreachable was eventually within reach. This dream vessel is starting to become a reality with a little hard work. So if you want to see this dream become a reality, sub up. Ya scallywag! Arr. Design and origin. The first thing you have to talk about with the MK1 TT is its design. When it debuted as a concept in 1995, it was a slap in the face to every other car on the market. Car design in the mid-90s was getting a bit bland, but the TT was a bold, Bauhaus-inspired statement. Its clean geometric shapes and smooth arcing roofline made it look like a driving sculpture. The designers, J. Mays and Freeman Thomas, drew inspiration from the Bauhaus art movement, which focused on form follows function. You can see this everywhere. The circular air vents, the exposed bolt heads on the center console, and especially the famous baseball glove stitching on the seats, which was a unique and iconic touch. The TT looked almost identical to its concept car, which is a testament to how brave Audi was with the final production version. It was a complete departure from their usual conservative style. This car was meant to be seen and admired as a work of art, and it completely changed Audi's public image. Engineering and platform. While the TT looked like a supercar, its underpinnings were a little more humble. It was built on the Volkswagen Group A4PQ34 platform, which it shared with cars like the VW Golf IV, the new Beetle, and the Skoda Octavia. That might not sound very glamorous, but it...
This is it. I went ahead and left those other pieces in there. This one I don't think looks too bad, but whenever I first pulled it out, it kind of looked like ink. You know what I mean? How ink looks. Or if you color something with a permanent marker, it kind of has that splotchy look to it. But since it dried, I think it's starting to look better.
Meant the car was incredibly well built and reliable for its day. The TT was also a showcase for Audi's technological prowess. The 1.8-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine came in several power outputs, from 180 horsepower to a sprightly 225 horsepower in the Quattro version. And of course, your 3.2-liter V6 model was a game-changer. It was the first car to be fitted with the revolutionary DSG dual-clutch transmission, which was a 6-speed gearbox that offered lightning-fast, seamless shifts. This technology was so advanced that it has since become an industry standard for performance cars. Controversy and safety. The Mark I TT's journey wasn't without its challenges. Early models faced a huge scandal due to high-speed instability. Several high-profile crashes in Germany led to a recall of over 10,000 cars. The problem was that the car's aerodynamic design created lift at speeds over 112 miles per hour, making the rear end light and prone to losing control during high-speed cornering or sudden maneuvers. Audi responded by recalling all Mark I TTs and making two key changes. First, they installed an electronic stability program, ESP, to help prevent the car from losing control. Second, they fitted a small fixed rear spoiler to add downforce and keep the rear of the car firmly planted on the road. While this was a massive PR challenge for Audi, their swift and comprehensive response helped them rebuild trust with consumers and ultimately cemented the TT's reputation as a safe and innovative vehicle. Legacy is a modern classic. Despite its early stumbles, the Mark I Audi TT is now considered a modern classic and a design icon. Its influence can still be seen in automotive design today, with many cars adopting its clean lines and minimalist interior philosophy. The TT's success paved the way for other successful Audi models that embraced a more adventurous design language, like the R8 supercar. It also proved that a car could be both a beautiful work of art and a thrilling, capable driver's car. The car's name itself is a nod to its sporting heritage, taking its name from the legendary Tourist Trophy, TT motorcycle race on the Isle of Man, a race where Audi's predecessor companies, NSU and DKW, had a rich history of success. The Mark I TT is a car that truly defied expectations and left a lasting mark on the automotive world. Extra facts: what makes this car even more special is how it was built. While most of the body was stamped and welded at Volkswagen's plant in Germany, the final assembly took place in Győr, Hungary, at Audi's factory. It was a very hands-on process, with workers manually fitting the body panels together to ensure perfect gaps and a flawless finish. This method was extremely labor-intensive, but it's part of what gave the first-generation TT its premium handcrafted feel. It truly was a unique car from start to finish. And finally, after 2 decades, this steel vessel is all mine.
Ended up with a couple wins and a couple fails. This is a mixture of both. You can see right there, it's blotchy. I don't know if this is just from being dirty beforehand. I tried cleaning it, but 20 years old of dirt and grime, you could still kind of see some of it. This is kind of a win because this needed dyed, the hook needed dyed, and that little thing needed dyed. That didn't come out too good though, but the rest of it turned out decent, so still a little bit wet. This turned out a little bit blotchy, it looks like, but that's not too bad. The majority of it is black. You can that's probably from the way that I dyed it. I kind of had it on one side and then the other side, so I bet you that's my fault for dyeing it like that. That still looks gray. It's darker than what it was, the rod coming out of the visor, but this didn't take too well. But this is the main thing that I wanted dyed black, so that done a decent job. So I'll go ahead and just reupholster those with the Alcantara. There's the color difference. You know, I mean, like, I guess they are black. They don't really look that dark, but then whenever you put them up to original piece of the interior, they are black compared to the gray. I mean, they're not that bad. I don't like the way the sticker looks, and I can't get the sticker off. You can tell in some spots, like right there, it was like crispy, like there was an air bubble under there, and 20 years of it drying out made it all crispy. So some of the sticker will come off in places like that where it had air behind it, but the rest of it where it was actually sealed, it's not coming off. It's, you know, embedded to the fabric now. So even with like a heat gun, I don't think I'd have luck getting it off. I'm just going to go ahead and reupholster those. This here was a fail, but that was because it had a little chip spot right here. These are covered in almost like a rubber material, and it had a chip right there and like somewhere over here, and I didn't want to dye it and still have those chips in it. So I went ahead and sanded all that off, and this is just the plastic, and you can kind of see some sand marks and stuff like that in it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the spray can stuff and finish that one out. And then this one as well didn't take that well. It don't look too bad in person, but you can see right there. And that might actually still just be like adhesive or something. I sanded it down, but I think that's just where I couldn't get the sandpaper, make good contact with the sandpaper. So I'm going to have to do that piece too, and the spray. But then this right here, that turned out money. That turned out really, really good. So that's a win in my opinion. And then the garage door came out really nice too, which is a win in my opinion. But the funny thing is, I checked online, and you can buy these carbon fiber covers for around these two and this one, but not this one. So this one sits in there, so the carbon fiber piece is just over that and not over this piece. So no matter what, I'm going to have to go ahead and refinish this, or try and find a black one, because I'm pretty sure they do sell black interior pieces. You just got to wait until you can find one. So I might keep my eye out, and eventually I'll just paint these two now, and then eventually if I can find like an OEM black one, I'll go ahead and buy those. But this is $100 for a black one, and this one came out good enough in my opinion. I think it looks just as good as the factory black ones, as well as this. So I guess that's a score. Oh yeah, and then these covers came out really good, and the hooks. So those came out real good. Just the visors, don't dye yours unless you're okay with that. You know, I would say it's about a 6 out of a 10. You know, I think that the quality was better stock, and then trying to dye it, after I pulled them out, a bunch of water was accumulated inside of it and pooled up and made that corner dark. So, you know, there's just several different issues with trying to dye these. So if you're going to change them, I would go ahead and dye them just to get these pieces, but you might as well go ahead and tear them apart and dye those separately. So that's my next step, is tearing these apart, and I'm still waiting on my material, but I'll go ahead and take those apart, and then I think I'm ready to go ahead and start reupholstering it and reinstalling it. So it's getting close. And then I got another little surprise for the end of it that is coming in the mail. Part of it is coming in the mail, but I think it's gonna look really good whenever it's all done. I don't know if I know that I don't have enough memory to be able to record the whole process of the install. So I'm gonna have to break this video up into 2 pieces. You know, I'm gonna have to have a part 2 for it. But if you want to see how it turned out, like, subscribe, share if you know somebody with a MK1 Audi TT, especially the 3.2.
We got nowhere to be.
And thanks for watching.
You can hear them all. I got a family of crows that live by me.
The world outside can't wait.
Yeah, here comes one.
'Cause right now
They always sit up here on top of this light pole. I'll go over there and put peanuts down, and they're all separated in different trees right now, but they usually, 4 of them will hang out on the light pole, and then 1 of them will hang out down there in that tree. And I think one's the mom and one's the dad, and 3 of them are the kids that you'll usually hang out on the extended light pole that holds the light. And then they'll chirp back and forth, and like right now it's kind of a hectic crow, but he's coming down to go get him some peanuts. They're over there by the stop sign, right at the base of it. They're really leery at first. He's taking a long walk around to get to him instead of just flying right down to him. But it's funny because a lot of them, the majority of them, all four of them will sit there and eat them right there by the stop sign, and then one will always grab them and fly down the road somewhere down there and eat him separately by himself. So there's one of them that came down and got him some. There's another one way up there. Sounds like there's another one over here in this tree somewhere. So I think there's one in that tree, one in that tree, one down there in that tree, and one down there in that tree, and wherever that guy went, he got him some food and took off. I like to sit out here in the morning, drink my coffee, and watch these crows, talk to them, go over and feed them. Here in a second they'll all come down and grab them some peanuts. They know they're there. They just see me out here. They're real playful. These two over here are playing. Oh, now the third one's going to play. Here they are. Oh, they just like purred. One of them just like purred like a cat. Oh, there's the other two. So I think they're all over there now. This is the first time I've ever got them to come to my backyard. They'll hang out in the trees back here. But they've never came to my yard. So I put some peanuts out there. They're checking them out. Right out there at the corner of the fire pit. They're still leaving. Cautious little guys. It's okay, guys. You're okay.